You can try to salvage it with Goo Gone.
That's true. Or like a dryer.
Yeah. And then put adhesive back on it and then put it on a plastic slip.
Yeah. Like just
Make
glue
a
it onto
TikTok.
something.
Yeah.
Make a TikTok.
Hello and welcome. My name is Alex Gonzalez. With me today is my good old friend, J.E.
Hey, that's me.
And you found yourself at the beginning of We Are Not Game Devs. How you doing today, Jay?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just getting ready before I take off on American Airlines. As I was checking in, they're like, "You want to be on this list? You can already get about $400 a ticket." And I was like, "No, not yet."
What
Once
list?
they're offering thousands.
Oh, to like delay your flights or
Yeah,
like
or
give
if
it
they can
up
give
in
me,
case, and you could go a day after or 2 days after or something like that.
yeah, I want them to
Yeah.
give me like $3,000.
And it's going to be
Cash.
like what it is. It's going to be like $400 credit to your next flight type of thing. It's not even going to be like money.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
They're like, "We have $4,000 cash." Like,
Yeah,
here we
right.
go.
They're not going to do that.
To go a day later and have a maximally awesome time where I get to pay for everything.
Maybe during Christmas they'll give you maybe like 500. They don't care.
But those are not, what do we even call those? The voucher systems we were talking about today. Today we are creating something new. Every week on We Are Not Game Devs, we imagine a brand new video game idea from our minds. Join in on the fun. Be creative. And if you have your own unique video game idea, write into @poundgames@gmail.com. Today is my turn to present We Are Not Game Dev's 218th IP. We're going to begin with this basic concept. You're a superhero that can remove the moisture, or not a superhero, you're a person that can remove the moisture out of anything, and thus cause it to crumble and fall.
That's it? That's all you got?
I was imagining this guy or this person that can like touch walls and cause it to like fade into sand by just removing moisture from it. I didn't want to put moisture back into anything because then that's infinitely more complicated than taking water out.
Right. Okay.
I was thinking...
do you want this to be more like an infamous single player story type based game, or do you want it to be more like arcadey, Katamari, running around destroying buildings as fast as you can, sucking moisture out of everything in the time period? Or is this like a story driven characters with like an enemy that you have to defeat, but at first you have to discover something about yourself to be able to overcome and defeat the ultimate enemy, and that's like your ultimate power up, and you learn a new power at the end of it.
What if it's like one of those games where you're an alien on this world, and the story and the point of view is from the human beings who are trying to stop you, as you're like sucking all the moisture out and destroying buildings and like rusting metal. Wait, metal is rusted through moisture, so it wouldn't rust. How do you destroy metal? By taking away moisture.
By rusting it. I don't know. I don't know how you really rust stuff.
I thought rust was with moisture. I'm not sure.
I think it is.
Salt, maybe?
Maybe.
Salt air?
I don't know. Well, I mean, obviously you won't be able to destroy some stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think this would work, like drying out? Because I was also thinking about just like where you touch it and it changes it to sand.
I mean, yeah, drying out would work. It would just have to be with specific things. Like walls would work, I think. Oh, I guess drywall wouldn't. But cement would, right?
Yeah, and I think you can dry something out. Or should we do maybe heat touch instead, where you can touch it and it gets hotter and hotter until eventually it bursts into flames and then ash?
What if it is more like a Cell from Dragon Ball situation. They just suck the inside stuff of everything. It doesn't matter what it is. It just sucks stuff and just leaves
Leaves
a
it a
brittle
shell.
shell. Yeah.
So if like you were to suck a house, would what's the inside gonna be? Are you taking all the furniture and everything and just leaving it like blank inside?
That's true. That is true. I was thinking
Or
more like if you're sucking up a house, it's not the house. You're sucking up first the wall, and then it gets like the outer wall, and then it sucks up, and then the wall will like break down, and then you suck like I don't know the inside of the fucking wood, and then the wood will just break down into like
I see.
splinters and stuff, but more like sawdust.
That would be interesting. It'd be like a kind of puzzler because you could like suck the dirt. So and like there would be like a pit if someone walks on the grass.
Yeah, you could like suck the dirt underneath grass, and so it's grass, but it's just floating there. So if someone walked through it, they'd just fall into.
Could you also, I guess, in this power, give it back and pop things?
So how about this? To give us direction, let's make it like Donut County. Then make it a puzzler.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too now.
And so the goal is suck something up, and then you could spit it out, and it'll spit out as whatever you sucked up. So you suck up some wood, spit it out as like wooden stakes, and you would have to. The idea is you have to completely, for example, completely destroy this house. And so the whole point of the game is you have to figure out what you can suck up and when you can't.
The point of the game is to pump and suck.
Exactly.
So you got to suck and you got to pump. And you got to know whether you're sucking or you're pumping.
Yeah. And what you're pumping is like stuff that you can't suck. So like, I don't know. Fucking objects, like I guess like a refrigerator you can't really suck because it's not like it's like a thing that's made out of multiple components. Like walls is just like a wall, it's all connected, and it's either hardwood that is mounted together or it's drywall or something. And if you suck the wood out of it, it just turns to sawdust. You suck metal, it just turns into metal scrappings. But like ovens and fridges and stuff like that, you can't just suck it. So you have to like throw wood or metal to destroy a fridge or an oven. And then like you can suck, let's say, the insides of a couch, and then it would be just left with.
Yeah. You could suck up fluff, blood, water. Refrigerators, you can't suck up anything that's machinery, but you can like load stuff in there. You can suck up people.
Yeah. You won't be able to suck up things like I guess it'll be easier just to say what you can't suck. Anything that is like multi-componented, like refrigerators, ovens.
I think we can make it pretty complicated too, where you can suck up darkness at some point, suck up light. And you can always pump air, but then you might, to solve a puzzle, you might need to pump something else. Whether that be water, fuzz, cotton.
Like blow light. Stuff up a little bit? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I don't know. I guess the goal of each stage would just be to get rid of everything on the stage. Just figure out how to get rid of everything.
There's just these random objects, and you gotta do it in a certain order to pump and suck until they're all gone.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm trying to think of like some Katamari Damacy or some kind of rhyme or reason here why you're doing this.
The alien just wants to. This is how it eats. It gets bigger and bigger this way.
Yeah, I guess that's how you eat, and maybe.
And then as you get bigger, you could suck up more complicated things. So
Okay,
maybe
so
eventually you can suck up fridges and ovens, but because it's not sucking the moisture, it's just sucking up the entire thing at that point.
right. So I get it now. You're on this world, and you've been deposited, and you're just eating and trying to survive. And it's you go from one open world to another open world level where you have different
Oh,
things.
you want to be at like Katamari Damacy like size world, like it's like an explorable space. Because at first I was thinking it's like Donut County, like little slice of life, but no, it's going to be like this big thing, and you could just it's an open world, and you just go out
and you'll be like
things up.
An alien eating different things, and then maybe after a while, the people will be onto you, so they'll start avoiding you.
Yeah,
and you have to like do different puzzles to get to them.
If it's a little bit bigger scale than that, I think it would be cool if we put in like small puzzles that are in these worlds. So it's going to be a little bit bigger and more explorable than like something like Katamari, where in Katamari, you just roll everything up.
Right.
Where in this game, I think what we could do is you'll go around and start sucking stuff. No, you know what? Let's just make it more like Katamari. So the whole point is we'll start you off in like, you're small, right? You start off like minuscule. So you start off in like, let's say when you land in like fucking, I don't know. What's something like a small scale, but with lots of stuff in it?
Like a cloud?
No, I was thinking more like
a gumball machine, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. Like I was thinking
where you fill up with different like little particles of whatever you're eating. So you can be like a glass gumball.
Maybe you fall into kind of like a this is going to be so like random, but what if you fall into like a diorama model thing? And so it's like a model of an entire neighborhood, but it's like a model. So they're all miniature, like tiny plastic, wooden pieces, and it's just a model. And then when you eat up the entire model and get a little bit bigger, now you find out you're inside a house, and it's like an architect's house. I don't know how we'll show that, but it's an architect's house. You eat the entire architect's house. Now you're inside his neighborhood. And then now you're inside downtown of the city where this architect lives. I don't know why I'm picking on this architect and his city he chose to live in. But then once you eat the city, I don't know. The city's where the neighborhood already opens it up because they're going to other people's homes and stuff. But then when you're into the downtown city area, it's going to get really big because then you're going to be eating skyscrapers and stuff like that. But then once you get even bigger, I don't know, national forest or something.
And you could also do ocean.
Just underwater. You just go into
where you're sucking water and spitting it out, but also sucking volcano ruins or lava and making earth in the water. I think you could do that. You can go up into the sky. No sky. Space would have to be it. And you could do different countries.
But I feel like at that point,
I guess that would be the different, like the traditional water level, desert level, jungle level. Sand would be fun to use.
Yeah.
Water would be fun to use. But an island has all of those things.
Do you want to make this like a Lilo and Stitch situation? He fell into an architect's house in Hawaii.
There you go. Yeah, he fell into an architect's house in Hawaii.
And so you just keep going around Hawaii and then wreak havoc until you hit the ocean. And I guess the sequel would be you snuck on a boat and now you're in America. I don't know.
Coming to America, like GTA.
Yeah. And then it'll be an open world crew / Forza Horizon style. You have all of America to eat, and you got to go across America.
That's too much America.
I don't know. I guess an island.
Maybe you could be a bad or good guy, and then people can fear you. Small changes.
We'll worry about that in the sequel. So the first game, you just take over.
Because I was thinking you could
islands
eat a hurricane or a tornado.
And just ride it.
Well, just eat it, and then it'll be in your stomach.
Yeah, but then how are you going to get there? You know.
Roll. How are you going to get there? Maybe you.
No. I think the first game was just the island that you start on, and you just take over the entire island. And eventually, you just eat the island, and then maybe
something happens where you can create little children, little cute things that if you pop something, and it's a smaller and cuter version of it.
And then the end of the game, you just make your spawn go all over the world, and then the sequel is just how all your spawn
maybe they're like little
progress.
They're little cute slimes.
Yeah.
That just spawn based off of whatever you blow up. So then you just have all these slime babies on the island. So for instance, if you got sucked up and blown up, you'd be a little J slime. It would be you with your mustache and your goatee and your hair and your glasses, but a little slime.
Mm.
Does that make this any better?
Yeah. So are you saying like once you finish like a specific level, you kind of blow up into these little versions, like these little slime versions, and then you follow those little slime versions as they're eating other parts of the island up, type of thing?
Yeah, I'd say so. And they leave everything kind of clean, but also like smooth and slimy. So imagine you're changing everyone on this island into a minion, but instead of a minion, it's a little slime version of themselves. That's hollow. So like they're like jelly see-throughs because you've eaten everything. Almost like SpongeBob's Bubble Buddy. That's what you're changing everybody into. But littler and cuter.
I'm fine with that. So after each round, when you take over, let's say, one city of this island, you blow up, spread all your little slimes everywhere, and then you follow another one of those slimes in another area, and then you take over that town, and so on and so forth, until all these little slimes come together, eat up the entire islands, blow up, and spread their slimes all over the world.
Yes, I think that's what it's going to be, and there's going to be cute ways to use your slime and your powers to like get around different neighborhoods, especially ones in the later game that are scared of you. But you guys are just like cute little slimes.
And so the whole point of the game is you start off as this tiny little slime, and now it's not so much just destroying stuff. You're just eating it. I'm assuming you're just going to suck it up no matter what it is. It's not going to leave any residue. You're just going to suck stuff up. And it's literally just Katamari. Instead of things, you rolling over things, you're just trying to insert as much into your body and get bigger and bigger. It's fishy. It's IO, except in 3D.
So maybe as you're eating things, you yourself are like a unique slime living in an architect's house. And as you eat something, you can absorb it. And then when it comes out of you, so you eat it, and as it comes out of your behind, it becomes a slime version of whatever that is. But like so imagine we change everything into a bubble letter clear version as you're absorbing all the nutrients and transforming everything into a slime bubble version of itself. So bubble version houses, bubble version people, slime everything.
Then how are you getting bigger though?
Because you absorb the nutrients and you get bigger. And then eventually as you become big enough, at the end of the game, you take over the island, you become King Slime. And they put like a crown on you.
Yeah. Is it going to be Is there going to be like a difficulty, or is the puzzle of it literally just finding the smallest things and just get bigger? Are we going to put like a time on the player, or like?
Nah, no time.
It's
I think
just
there's
going to
going to be
be.
some harder puzzles though in the game. Maybe some
But what are the
challenge
puzzles? You know
puzzles.
what I mean? Like, or because like if it's just going to be you just suck everything and turn everything to slime, you're eventually going to be able to do that. You know
You
what I
just got to
mean?
get gradually bigger and bigger. And I think there's going to be certain things where if you suck up a car before you're finished processing the car and shooting the car out, you have to put the car in the right spot. And then maybe there's some things that you have to interact with before turning it to slime to make it move, and then interact with things turn and then after turning it into slime so it fits the puzzle better depending on the character actions, because everything that's slime is going to be lighter naturally and just a little bit more bouncy, whereas the other stuff is going to be fuller, heavier. Maybe not. Maybe just turn everything. You slowly go around. And maybe as you're smaller, you just try not to get caught when you first go into the level so people don't stamp you out or dry you out. Maybe there should be something that you're afraid of. What's the slime's key weakness? Sand? Sand will dry you the fuck out.
I'm just trying to think because I feel like the game went off rails and now we're doing a completely different game now because I had this whole thing built up and now we're doing something different.
I don't know. I'm just trying to make this sound cool and appealing here. And I think we're getting somewhere, but we are in two different games here where there's like some kind of slime thing that you inflate and deflate.
Okay, so
what if every single thing that you make into a Bubble Buddy slime, you can also make bigger and smaller?
No, that's just because like the complicated part right now is I'm trying to understand what you're doing, because at first I thought it was going to be a puzzle game where each is like its own little instance and then you got to figure out a smart way to turn. At first I thought it was eat everything, but now we're turning everything to slime. So if we're going to turn everything to slime, so I thought it was going to be a puzzle where you turn everything to slime slowly, piece by piece, and try to figure out how to do it without ruining everything. But then now it's going to be these open world segments.
I think
And
maybe
so-
we should do the puzzle piece with the slime where you have to figure out and pick and choose so you don't ruin everything. Maybe that's it, that you're trying to turn everything to slime while maintaining the way that it looks, so that way anybody who would look at it would think that everything's fine even though it's obviously bubble-fied.
Yeah.
That way you don't get caught doing it. What do you think?
I think we would have to make it simpler than that. Like if we want to make it this open world, like big thing, and you just go to town and just try to make everything slime, I don't think you have time to worry about, or it's not going to be fun to worry about making it so everything's perfect. And so you like try not to disturb anything. And then if you make one mistake and then you mess up and it just ruins everything, that's just not fun. So I think what it's going to have to be, it's going to have to be simple, fun, and arcadey, just like Katamari. And so it's going to be, you have 3 minutes to try and slime as much of this as possible. And you just fucking go. And at the end of it, just like Katamari, it's going to give the player like some kind of grade on how much you slimed, what you've collected in terms of what you were able to suck up. And it will give you all that stats if you want to look at all of that. And then be like, you slimed or you sucked up and turned 70% of this instance into slime in the 3 minutes, or 100% or whatever. And then you just move on to the next round. And each instance gets bigger and bigger for you to explore and give you more opportunity to eat more things. And so you're eating more things, you get bigger. That allows you to eat bigger things. And so I think it'll eventually just be, so you get this first instance, it's a small piece. Like we said, it's going to be like a small model thing, and then move on to a house and you get to explore the whole house. Then you get to explore the whole neighborhood. Then you get to explore the entire downtown area. And as you're doing this, it's just in each area, we're going to give you different time limits on what we as developer think you get for each level. So the first one, you only get 1.5 minutes. Then you get 2 minutes, and then you get 2 minutes, in 15 seconds, and so on and so forth. And then there's a pass or fail state, and it's different with each one, where the first level we expect you to get 50% of this whole area in a minute and a half. And then the second level we expect you to get 70% in the 2 minutes that we give you, type of thing. So it's literally just going to be Katamari Damacy, but instead of trying to roll everything up, you're trying to slimify the entire thing by getting bigger and bigger until you've gotten everything. And then, the result, because in Katamari, the satisfaction is seeing everything get rolled up into your ball. And then as you get bigger, you could roll something up that you weren't able to roll up before. So the satisfaction in this game is just seeing how everything looks after you eat it, and just getting bigger and bigger, big enough to be able to get the next big thing and see what it looks like after you eat that. So what does this small pencil look like? And then once you get big enough to suck up the computer, what is the computer going to look like? And then when you get big enough to suck up the desk the computer is on, what does that look like, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to transform everything into like
no real physics involved, no like stealth mechanics or anything. It's going to be like Katamari, where when you're smaller than the human come attack you and you get smaller. But when you're bigger than the human going to run away. And then when you get big enough, it's not humans that are after you. It's like tanks and helicopters and
you can transform everything into a slime version of itself.
Yeah. And then maybe when you get in the later stages, we'll start getting into what we were saying earlier, where when you conquer an entire town, you become king of that town, you get a crown and everything, and everyone worships you because everyone's a slime thing. And then you blow up and spread your little slimes, and then you follow another one of your small slimes, and they become king of that town.
Okay. So as everyone cheers you on, you're just like, woo! And then you just spread onto other nations.
Yeah.
As
and
slimes
then
go
it
everywhere.
You'll do that all over again, but starting small, and then it'll be good. Like the draw from there would be everywhere you land, it's going to look different from the last time. So it's going to be like Katamari, where the first time you land, they start you itty bitty, and you start in Katamari, you start in like some boy's room. And so you're collecting like erasers and pencils and DVDs and CDs and game consoles. And then eventually you're starting to roll up like street signs and cars. And like in the Japan area, you're picking up cherry blossoms and shit like that.
You know, it'd be cool in the Japan area if eventually you work yourself up and the last thing you eat is a whole bullet train. So as it like goes through you, you're changing it into slime.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be shit like that, where the game, when you get off this small Hawaiian island, then you're going to conquer all of Japan. You're going to conquer all of China, America, and stuff like that. And it's going to be like different countries at that point. And then at the end of the game, you just eat the entire world, just in one big gulp. And then the
world is one slime.
You'll see in space, it's just rotating slime with a big crown on it. And that's the end of the game. There you go.
I like it.
We figured it out.
And that's when it'll do something really cute in Japanese, like do the and you know the little like emoji when it's full.
Yeah.
And then it just goes to sleep.
Exactly.
And then maybe as it turns around, the sun wakes it up, and you see it post-credit scene. It gets mad at the sun and starts going towards the sun to eat it. I like it. What does the slime look like? The master slime. The primary slime.
I think just kind of like Flubber, I guess.
King slime. With some cute-ass googly eyes, right? We're going to spend months on the eyes.
I didn't think it was going to have eyes. I thought it was going to be like exactly what you said, like SpongeBob, Bubble Buddy. It's just going to be...
Well, King Slime has to have eyes.
I think when they get to that size, they're going to have eyes. But at that point, they're just going to look like Slime Rancher slimes, or like slimes from Dragon Quest. You know what I mean? That's what they're just going to look like once they get to that size. Definitely not blue, because we can't. I feel like we'll get in trouble.
What about like a iridescent kind of slime?
Yeah, just shiny pearl looking.
Because we can knock this out of a park. It'll just be like some kind of cute, chubby creature, a la Kirby, Pusheen, egg, thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it transforms everybody into a chibi version. Okay. What music do you think is going to be in this game? Lots of different answers here.
I mean, is this first game just gonna be like a tropical kind of like Hawaii like island,
Tropical high Hawaii slime.
or is this gonna eventually the first Hawaiian island area thing is only one section and eventually you go all over the place, or is it just focused on one little area for the first
We
game?
could if you want. How do you want to do it?
Let's just go
Did you
all
wanna-
the end of the game is taking over the entire world. So
Okay.
I would say the music is just reflective as to what area you're trying to take over first, you know. So it starts off in like a small Hawaii. I don't want it to be like Earth, but maybe like a inspiration version of Earth. So Hawaii's not Hawaii, but they're definitely Hawaii. You know what I mean? Like it's an island that's definitely Hawaii, but it's called something else, like Aloha, like fucking what Pokemon does. You know what I mean? It's Earth, but everything has different names, essentially. Like there's Japan,
Gotcha.
but it's not Japan. It's called Niho Land, and China is called I don't know. You know what I mean? Like they'll all have like different names and stuff. America's just called us.
Okay. We got Chinland, Usland, Apanland. All right. How much are you willing to pay for this game?
I mean, I think it's gonna have to be a full game. $60. I guess 70, but I think 60 is just what it's gonna be. It's gonna be on Switch.
It could be
$60.
$60. Just people aren't. I don't know if people are going to want to play for it because usually people don't associate cute with full price games.
Yeah. I think it's just gonna be a $60 game on everything. Just see how it does. Throw it out there.
Nice. Throw it out there and see what happens. Well, all right, Jay, let's get your timer out because we're going to name this game
Go.
King Slime.
I don't think we can name it that.
Slime King.
Like slime is the word I'm trying to get away from. There's Slime Rancher, and I don't know how they got away with that because it's obviously Dragon Quest inspired, these slimes.
Dragon Quest doesn't have a trademark on slime.
I guess they don't, but everyone's thinking
Maybe Nickelodeon does.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Bubble Buddy.
What if you just call it Bubble Party?
Bubble Party, yeah. I like Bubble Party.
52 seconds. At the very end, the bubble takes over the entire Earth and eats it. And then, like, I don't know, a fucking space shuttle from space comes back to land into Texas, and it just hits the bubble and just pops. And then
It all pops.
The whole Earth
Or
is
not
gone.
even that. It's like this, like, Bubble Party. Like when the king, I imagine it being a cute voice, like shouting to the whole world once it takes over. Bubble Party, and they start doing a bubble party, and then a meteor just comes from space and hits this new bubble Earth and then pops it.
Pops, and then there's billions of bubbles that just spread and it goes all across the
Yeah,
universe.
and that's for the sequel, just billions of bubbles spreading in different directions.
Yeah, just taking over the entire universe until it just pops.
And maybe that's where you can see like the sun turn into a bubble as like you see it like slowly drifting. Okay. Bubble Party is a game in which you play as the king of bubbles, trying to make the whole world bubbles because bubbles bobble and bubbles rule, especially in this game. All right, Jay, I think we have a game here. Would this be a game you'd want to play, and is it fun?
You know, probably not. I'm probably not gonna play this one. I'll probably see the trailer and be like, oh, that's a cute game. Go for it, guy. The only time I think I would probably ever try this is if it was just free one day.
Yeah, I think the price, I don't know why we charge $70
because it sounds like it's going to be a long game. It's not 70, it's a $60 game. So it's not full price, but it's like up there in price. It's like when
just about
when Skull and Bones comes out, I mean, they're going to charge 70. But when, let's say Digimon Survive just came out, they're not charging 70 for that. They're charging 60 for that. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, 60 on Switch. That's a lot.
And it's going to be that kind of game where it's a game that goes everywhere. It's just going to be $60 flat out. It's, you know, it's just going to be that kind of game. And it seems like it's going to be long. Like Katamari Damacy is a long game. Like I think it takes like 25 hours to fully get through everything in that game, you know, because you go from that small boy's room and eventually you're out eating the entire world. And then, it becomes a pretty long game. And I think you go to space, or maybe that was the PS Vita one where you go to space. I don't really remember. But yeah, like I think it'll end up being a longer game, and then it'll have a lot of different places to go to, a lot of assets, a lot of textures, and yeah, I think it'll be a pretty decently long game with like if you really love the hook, you'll get in and just do the game like Katamari Damacy. Like if you love rolling stuff up, you'll eventually get to the end.
You'll love this game. Yeah. I don't think I'd play this game right at the beginning, but it would be one of those games that would be something I'm looking at, like that I'd be thinking about, similar to Live Alive, where I want to buy it, but I don't want to buy it at that price, or Digimon Survive, or games like that, but they're still going to be in my bubble, so to say. Now that we have a complete game, what game studio would you choose to make this game?
I mean, it would have to be whoever made Katamari, right? Or Watam, those games. Who made Watam? Watam was made by... It's really hard to find out anything about this game. Designed... it's by Annapurna, developed by Funomina, designed by Keita Takahashi. And he was the guy who was behind Katamari Damacy. But he started his own developing company, Funomina, I guess. Well, yeah, give it to him, Katamari Damacy.
That makes a lot of sense. I had a feeling that you were going to go with Katamari Damacy with the amount you talked about. I was thinking about Monomi Park, the people behind Slime Rancher 2.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There's 2 Slime Ranchers? I thought the first game barely just came out.
No, it's been out and it was a huge hit.
Well, I know it was in early access for years and years and years. I didn't think it actually like came out and then had a sequel.
Well, Slime Rancher 2 is coming out this fall.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And Ben Esposito, the guy behind Neon White and Donut County. He's not really doing Donut County games like anymore with Neon White that just came out, but you know, maybe he wants to go back to these type of games later on.
Yeah, and then I was thinking about Glubberland, the people behind Ooblets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Similar art style there.
Kind of a different type of game, but just give it to, let me see, Eric Barone, the guy behind Stardew Valley. And now that Candy Factory game that he's making.
That would be interesting. If you were to give it to him, there would be a lot of story there for sure. You know who would also be good at this is Nintendo, the people behind Splatoon.
No, let's just give it to Game Freak because they make spin-off games every once in a while.
Yeah, that's true.
It'll look very Pokemon-y all of a sudden.
I think there's a certain charm there.
Yeah.
I like that. Beautiful. Welcome to our bubble world. And with that, our 218th IP has gone gold. We hope you look forward to this experience that will probably never release. We have a Patreon. If you'd like to give us extra support, please head over to patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. For just $1, patrons receive episodes early and an extra podcast at the beginning, which you caught the tail end of our conversation at the beginning of this episode. That's patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. Like, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And if they ask for a review, instead of reviewing our show, become your inner game critic and review
Bubble Party.
Bubble Party. The game we just created. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back next Friday with another new IP. Again, my name is AG.
And I'm JE.
And thank you. And please remember that we are not game devs.
Felt like this was a difficult one. I don't know why, but I felt a lot of pushback on this one. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is gonna come together.
And it did. Into a bubble party.
Your fucking descriptor though, at the way you described this concept to me at the very beginning was you're a superhero
I was thinking,
that sucks
I was
moisture.
imagining some person that could walk up and like into a fortress and like touch a wall and make it into sand and then walk through. And then as people shot bullets at them, would turn all those bullets into sand.
See,
and
you should have said that second sentence and now we got
disintegrate their limbs into sand as well. And like make them so that they're like falling down and just sand. So like, and wherever the wounds come from would be like hourglass sand falling off of them until they're completely all sand.
Well, that's a completely different game, Alex. That's something else.
That was my idea when we were going with Bubble Party.
Well, now we're here in that game. Maybe if you describe it more as you're a guy who takes moisture out of things, we could get somewhere else with that game.
He's a guy that's really dry and abuses osmosis. So he's an X-Men that works on a cellular level.
Yeah.
And now we got Bubble Party.